Imagine, just for a moment here, bear with me now, that you're back to yourself when you're 10 years old and you have picked up your first rugby ball. You don't know how to play the sport, but you've seen it on television. You remember that your mother used to play back in the day, so you ask her, Mom, is there any way you can teach me how to play rugby? And she says, absolutely, I'd be delighted to. That alone is a prime example of education. It shows that education can be a foundation to a relationship. It can be the glue to a relationship. It can be the peanut butter and jelly to a PB&J for all you care. It is important. Education, while the format and delivery has changed over time, the purpose remains the same. And that purpose, according to Oxford English Dictionary, is the process of bringing up a child with reference to forming character, shaping manners and behavior, or etc. It can also be the manner in which a person has been brought up in an instance of this. Just the fact that education means being brought up from a child and learning development, it's a pretty powerful thing. But to supplicate what Oxford says, but also to kind of question it and challenge it. This is a definition from Merriam-Webster, and that definition states that education is a discipline that is concerned with methods of teaching and learning in schools or school-like environments as opposed to various non-formal and informal means of socialization. So while it does kind of take a little bit of a jab at our definition from Oxford, it does also supplicate it by saying education is in and out of the school. It is development. It is change. And just like how the caterpillar will envelop itself in a chrysalis to become a butterfly, so too does education change us to the people we are today. And it's just not a day one, day two process. It is gradual. And to add on top of this fact, now bear with me, I have another definition for you. It comes to us from the Encyclopedia Britannica. So to supplicate the two definitions from before and to drive the point further, education to the Encyclopedia Britannica is the action or process of being educated, also a stage of such a process. It just kind of reinforces the fact that education takes time. You don't learn something immediately. The caterpillar, I'm sure, has learned to develop itself into a chrysalis, not just from intrinsic behavior learned by being a caterpillar, but through trial and error. You learn to ride a bike from trial and error. Education might not seem like it's there in most points of your life, but it sure as heck is. And it's great just to think about how one word means all this different stuff. It just blows my mind, again, to think about its importance. On top of this, there was a great chapter of a book written called The Unifying Role of Learning Across Higher Education by Professor Abrahams and Amit Topku of University of Warwick and UCL respectively. And in this chapter, it's only a couple pages long. It's not a lot. They go over in detail about how just there's been a systematic accumulation of knowledge. And, quote, unknowns are sought, knowns are taught, unquote. Again, education. You are looking for what you don't know and things that can be known without research, without your own research, that are being taught to you. And again, it ties into this whole fact that you have relationships with teachers and your parents, and parts of those relationships is being taught stuff. And in this day and age, especially in 2020, we know we have this pandemic going on, we have the Black Lives Matter movement going on. Education is more important now than ever. And with this Trump presidency, information and misinformation, fake news is great. There's just so much you have to learn. And education is changing always. I took my last semester online, and it was a challenge, but you know what? I learned how to do it. Education teaches you a lot of different things. And it's important to me because I want to be there for students in the future. I want to be there for my kids and teach them how to do essential things in life. Just education is this glue. It is the peanut butter and jelly to a PB&J that you take a bite out of it and you're going to want more. And I appreciate you listening to my talk on education. It is such a powerful thing. You may not realize how it is evident in your life in more than one way, but it sure as heck is. So I appreciate you listening to my talk, and as always, have a great day.